Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Um, so on Friday the 17th, come early because there's going to be parking construction. And this is my last Tuesday. So we have a new instructor coming in. What's 7 plus 7 plus 7? The 21st. 14 plus one more, right? 7, 21st. So all her information is on the website. I will still be doing Fridays. I will be here Fridays. She will be here Tuesdays. She looks wonderful. So with that, let's start on our backs. Or we're in a really dark room in here. If the lights in here still are a little like too bright on you, just start sitting. It's super fine. Of course, if you're at home or in your office, you can start in a chair. You can start on your back. And just give ourselves a little time to intentionally slow your body down. Let your physical bones find a nice shape. Hold your bones nice and still. And then notice what you notice. What do you notice here? As you're just lying here. Gentle reminder, we have total agency over our practices. So if something doesn't feel comfortable, something doesn't feel safe, change shapes, come back to a place that's supportive and comfortable. And then guiding your attention to your breathing. So breathing is an important part of a yoga practice. How we breathe connects to how we feel. So we're going to pause here to find and feel out your inhale and your exhale. Each one of us is feeling something different. Give yourself a moment to notice what you feel. It doesn't have to make any sense. You don't even have to attach words to it. Slowing down a little bit. In this class, when I say deep breathing, I'll define that as breathing from the inside out. So like deep in your body, which is different than like a big gasp or a big heavy breath like that. So as we take maybe 3 to 5 more breaths here, your own pace, your own rhythm, breathing from the inside out. What do you feel inside your body as you breathe? Give yourself one more full in-breath and a full commitment exhale. Let all the air out. Okay, if you're on your back, bend your knees. If you're sitting in a chair, you might just scoot up in your chair a little bit. On your back, you're going to bring your arms straight up towards the ceiling. If you're in a chair, you're bringing your arms out in front of you. Gently pull your arm bones into the back of the shoulder towards the floor. Okay, if you're sitting, you gently pull your arm bones back. Okay, Find your corset cummerbund area. So from your lower rib cage all the way down to your pelvis. Try to keep your lower back ribs on the floor as you open your arms out wide like T's and just let your arms hover above the floor. Now check in, sitting or on your back. Did your back ribs pop up? Try to keep those low back ribs on the floor and then bring your arms back up to the ceiling or out in front of you. Move in relationship to your breathing. So we are paying attention to breath and movement as we open and close your arms. Inhale, open. Exhale, back up to the ceiling or bringing them out in front of you. 5 more. Steady, connected spine. Moving with your breath, arms go out, and then they're going to hover like a T, just floating a little bit off of the floor. If that's too much for your chest or your upper back, take them more to a V. So you're going to stretch your arms out, rotate your palms up towards the ceiling and let them hover towards the floor. Bringing awareness to your upper back. Can you feel how your arm plugs into your shoulder blade? So feeling the shoulder blades and the arm bones connecting, and then stretch and take 3 breaths. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, arms come back up towards the ceiling and then just bring them down to the floor and rest for 3 breaths. Now take your arms down by your hips. So palms are facing down. Okay, if you're in a chair, you're going to make this one up on your own, okay? Legs come up towards the ceiling. Okay, rotate so your heels are pressing together. There you go. Now pay attention to your lower corset cummerbund. So navel draws towards the floor a little bit, heavy back hips. You're going to try not to move your low back, keeping your low back closer to the floor without a big arch. Inhale, take your legs out wide like a V. You don't have to lower them, just go wide like your arms and then pull them back together. There you go. So a little bit of external rotation. So your heels are in, your toes are out. Legs are more up towards the ceiling. If it's really tight in your hip creases, bend your knees, that's fine. And we'll do about 5 more, paying attention to your low back. Find just the right amount of range of motion for your legs in your hip sockets. Okay, so legs fit into hip sockets. One more time, bring your legs up. And then bring everything down and rest for a couple of breaths. So you can come back into your experience, noticing what you notice, breathing. Full commitment, exhale. And then all the limbs go up to the ceiling. Or if you're sitting in a chair, taking your limbs out in front of you. Okay, so feel your head and your shoulders, your back ribs, your back hips. You have a rectangle, keep it a rectangle. All the limbs go out wide and pull them back up to the ceiling. Try to keep your arms in a line with your legs. So even though your arms, shoulders have a lot more range of motion, just let them mimic or trace your legs. One more time, out and in. Now you're going to go contralaterally. You're going to take your right leg out to the right and your left arm out to the left and pull them back up towards the ceiling. Second series of dead bug. Right arm out to the right, left leg out to the left and bring them up. Trying not to wobble. So it is strength-based with mobility. Can you feel the relationship of strength here? So you don't wobble, and mobility, taking the limbs out and in. I'm going to do 3 more with each limb. Making sure that you're breathing. Little less wobble. Bringing everything back up to the ceiling. All right, hold everything up towards the ceiling. Come back to your spine, head, shoulders, ribs, hips. Stretch your arms overhead towards the wall behind you. If you're at a chair, you're going to lift them up to the ceiling. Did you move your spine? Did it change shape? It's good to be curious. Ask yourself questions. Lower your heels a little bit. So really push your legs away from you and lower your heels enough that you're challenged, but you don't pop your low back off the floor. So as your legs start to lower, really pay attention to your belly button to your pubic bone. Try to keep your belly button down in line with your pubic bone. Don't let your belly button pop up, which means don't pop your low back up. 3 breaths. Stretch your heels and your fingers away. Pull, 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 pull. Keep breathing, and then exhale, pull everything up to the ceiling and then lower everything down. Ooh, and give yourself a couple moments to breathe. And then again, coming back to your experience. Doesn't have to make sense. What do you notice? What do you feel here when you take 2 or 3 more breaths? You're gathering information. And then we're going to exhale, roll over, and build a tabletop. Okay. So we had a request for hips and triceps today. So it was a little bit of hip work. Here comes some tricep, upper back work. Okay. So we're going to build our tabletops. We've all built, I bet we've built 500 tabletops together over the years in this class. So I'm not going to give much direction here. If you're brand new, you've never done tabletop before, quick direction. You want your ears to be about as high as your shoulders and your shoulders to be about as high as your hips. All right. Take a couple moments to feel it out and then take 2 breaths, a little more awareness through your back. All right, now just walk your hands forward like 1 hand length. Okay, so that's like 6 inches. Walk your hands forward about 6 inches. Okay, look at your forearms and look at your elbows. Try to bring your forearms down to the floor. So just bend your elbows and come down, and then you're going to push down and come back up to table. Try to bring your forearms down more like railroad tracks, so they're a little more parallel, and go slowly so you can pay attention to your back shoulder area. So it's tricep up into the back shoulder blade area. Okay, we'll do about 4 or 5 more. All right, next time your forearms come down towards the floor, just let them hover. So as you come down, just let your elbows hover off the floor and see if you can recreate tabletop. It's really easy for your chest, sternum, breastbone to drop. So upper abdominals turn on a little more. So find your lower ribs and your upper abdominals and knit your ribs where you draw your ribs down and back, or we could say down and up here, and take 3 breaths. Then push into your hands and straighten your arms. Okay, grip your mat like you were gripping a basketball or a volleyball, and then push your hips, your butt way back towards your heels. And then you're going to push into the floor and feel like you're pulling yourself up and forward. Open the front of your hip. You're going to come forward, Shoulders slide down, and then you're going to push yourself back. So you can work a little bit too with pushing down, push and pull as you come up and as you go back. I'm going to do about 3 more, working here in your own range, going at your own speed. Great. As I look around the room, nice. Everyone's doing their own thing, going at their own pace. Hopefully you're doing that at home. And then you're going to come back to tabletop. Just sit back and shake out your wrists for a moment. All right, 1 more tabletop exercise. We all good with our wrists? Okay. So you're going to add a little bit of cat-cow here. Okay. So let's come back to the good old table. Strong fingers. Strong upper back. So can you connect to your shoulder blades into your triceps and do 3 elbow bends before your down dog, or before, sorry, your cat-cow. You're going to go up and down on your elbows. Then you're going to come to your table and round your back into a cat and then go into a cow. You're going to come back to your table and bend your elbows 3 times. Then you're going to do 1 more cat-cow. Great. After this cat-cow, we're going to come back to just plain old good table. I'm going to add some strength. Curl your toes under, connecting to your upper back shoulder blades down through your arms into the floor, and just hover your knees like a millimeter. Keep your knees really close to the floor. Feel your upper back. Take 3 breaths. It's a lot of work in your upper back and your quads. Now lift your knees 3 more inches up. Good. Now lift all the way up and go back to downward facing dog. Pedal your legs out. Keep breathing. And I say that because I was holding my breath. Pedal out. Feel your dog. And then we're going to come back. You're going to drop your knees a little bit. Hover. And then drop your knees again, just about a millimeter off the floor. Hover. Those are those quads. Good. Bring your knees all the way down to the floor. Round your back into a cat. Great. Come through table to a cow. Back to table. If you need to walk your knees back or your hands forward, you will. Elbows come down. And then we straighten the arms 2 more times. Okay, next time your elbows come down, pause. This might be right where you stay and you work. You're going to look at your hands, press your palms down, press your forearms into the floor, curl your toes, hover your knees just a little tiny bit. Lift your knees up a little higher. All right, then you take your hips all the way up and back and you're in elbow dog. So you're on your elbow forearms, let your head hang, give yourself 3 breaths. And then slowly come back down, knees hover. Knees to the floor, push back child's pose. Woo! And then take a nice big rest. And just give yourself a moment, let everything that can rest, rest. Come back, notice how you're feeling. Full exhale. Okay, stay here if you need more time to rest. If not, come back to table and you build downward facing dog. Okay, so your version, you build your downward facing dog. You can do a straight arm down dog for a few breaths. If you wanted another challenge, you can come and do your forearms like we just did. This can be a nice option. Mix things up. We're going to take 3 to 5 quiet breaths here. And then after those breaths, we're going to figure out how to come on up to standing. And we'll all meet up in standing mountain with our arms down by our sides. Just give yourself 3 breaths. All right, stepping our feet wide. Great. Heels and toes out. Just 5 sumos to warm up. Ankles, shins, knees, thighs, hips, lower back. A little more challenging if you're still going. Lift your heels for the last couple. Great, and then we'll come all the way on up. Step your feet together and come up to the front of your mat. Let your arms hang. And then again, short rest, mountain pose, 3 breaths. Exhale, arms sweep out to come up. Inhale, arms pull down, fold at your hips, fold forward. Exhale, come all the way back up. Inhale, fold forward. 2 more. See if you can move from your breath. All right, next time you fold forward, if you're using a chair, maybe stand in front of your chair. We're going to step back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, push your hip creases back, and take 3 breaths. Stay here or optionally come down to your knees, bring your forearms down. 3 breaths in that elbow forearm dog, your choice. Rest in tabletop or child's pose when you need to. And we exhale. If you're in the elbow dog, probably come back to tabletop, to down dog. And then we're going to figure out how to come on up to standing. So maybe you take a small step up with your feet. Maybe you bring your arms back. We come all the way on up, mountain stretch, arms to your side, 5 breaths this time. Our breath rate's going a little faster. So as the breath gets faster, you take shorter breaths. 5 breaths, won't feel so long. Okay, and then exhale, step your feet wide. All right, left leg's gonna roll in a little bit. Right leg's gonna roll out. We're gonna go heel to heel. So a little bit like how we were on our backs, bring your arms out. Remember the very first arm exercise we did? We took the arms up to the ceiling and we drew the arm bones back into the shoulders and we open and close the arms. So let's do that 3 times. Okay, so it's just like you were on the floor. You're pulling your arms open to warrior 2 and you're bringing your arms out in front. Great, then add the warrior 2. Pull your arms open, bend your right knee. Straighten your right leg, pull your arms back together. Open, bend, close. Great, so right knee bends, arms open, you got 2 more. Great, next time your arms are open, pause. Come back 3 breaths. Straighten the right leg, bring the arms back. Arms come up to the ceiling. Great, right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Heel to heel. Arms come out in front of you. Great, open the arms. Close the arms. Couple more, pull open, push closed. And start to bend the knees. So as you open, bend and straighten. Great. With your breath. 2 more. Next time the arms are open, the knees bent, pause. Sweep your arms up, straighten your left leg, come back around. Hands come to your hips, turn to face the front of your mat. 3 breaths. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Long spine, fold forward. Skip it or step back. Pick your version of downward facing dog. Right? Maybe your version is tabletop. Maybe your version is the one we usually do with straight arms, or maybe you're trying the elbow forearm version of down dog today. All of us, regardless of where we are here in down dog, bend your knees and push your hip creases, push your butt way back. Get the weight off of the wrists and into the lower belly. Exhale, step forward. Bring your arms back. Come all the way back on up. Give yourself a big full mountain stretch. Arms come down. Right away, step your feet wide. Left leg's going to roll in just a little bit. I can't really walk around. If I could, I would come help your feet. You don't need a really big turn in. You just need a little turn in, okay? A big one might strain your groin a little much. So just a little step in. A right leg turns out. There you go. Arms come out in front. Probably see where we're heading. Bend your right knee. Open your arms. Pause. All right, 3 hip tips. You're going to tip with those big, with your arms wide and come back up. Straighten your legs, sweep it up, touch the ceiling. Good, bend your knee, warrior 2, side angle tip. Good, warrior 2. Straighten your leg, reach up to the ceiling. Last one, hip tip, hold your side angle. Okay, if your arms are open, pull your arms apart, knit your ribs. So you're pulling your arms apart. Keep your ribs down and in. Take 2 more breaths. Whoa, that was like 10 breaths. Come back up, warrior 2. Reach your arms up, straighten your right leg. Arms up to the ceiling, right leg rolls in just a little bit. Exhale, leg rolls out. Good, warrior 2. Okay, we worked on this last week. Look down, can you see your big toe? You want your left leg to be pushing out a little bit. There we go, hip tip. Great, warrior 2. Straighten your left leg, stretch to the ceiling. Warrior 2. Hip tip. Warrior 2. Stretch. Last one, warrior 2. Hip tip, hold your side angle. Stretch those arms. Knit your ribs. You got it, 3 breaths. Warrior 2. Great, straighten that left leg, come back around, high five everybody. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn to face the front of your mat, pause. Notice your breath, notice your heart rate. Remember deep breathing from the inside out. What do you feel on the inside of your body when you take 2 breaths? Your version. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. What we mean by your version is when we do a forward fold, maybe you use a chair, maybe you stop at table, maybe you're coming all the way over. Your version, downward facing dog. What do we mean? Again, maybe you're doing more of this classic down dog with your arms straight. Maybe you're coming to tabletop. Maybe you're coming onto your forearms. We're all going to take about 5 breaths. Your breath's a little bit quicker. Then we have to figure out how to come back on up to standing. We meet back at the front of your mat, top of your mat in your standing mountain. Bless you, and give yourself 5 breaths. All right, so as we stand, let's just practice proprioception. So practice feeling your body in space here. Where are your ears in relationship to your shoulders, in relationship to your ribs and your hips. So you want your ribs stacked above your hips. All right, let's do a little bit of balance. So just because you lift up your left heel doesn't mean all the weight shifts. Sometimes we do that unilateral leg work where we go put 80% in the right leg. So today, let's think of more even weight. If your right side weighs 50 pounds and your left side weighs 50 pounds and you pick up your left heel, try not to shift your weight. Keep it equal as you maybe pick up your left knee a little bit. And then put your left foot down. So remind yourself you need to connect your upper back with your corset cummerbund with your leg strength, keeping about 50 pounds in each side of your body as you lift your right heel, as you maybe lift your right knee. Can you feel your upper back? Can you feel your corset cummerbund coming together? Feel your legs. Okay, and then put your right leg down. All right, we're going to pick up the left leg and step it back. So if you need something to help balance and you're in the room, you can always go to a wall. If you're at home, your office, you can grab a chair. Left leg steps back. And you're going to hang out, high lunge. Ears, shoulders, ribs, hips. Okay, you're going to let both knees have a little bit of a bend. Great, fingertips come together, take 3 breaths. If you feel pretty, okay, this is okay. I can do this. Take your arms up. 3 breaths. Load your right leg, step both legs together. Right leg lifts. Step your right leg back. High lunge. Ears, shoulders, ribs, hips, fingertips come together. Check in. How does this feel from the inside out? Okay. Maybe you take your arms up, 3 breaths. And we're going to load the left leg, step it forward. Hang out, 3 breaths. Bring your arms out and up. Hinge at your hips. Fold forward, your version. One more time, downward facing dog, your version. Maybe it's straight arm down dog. Maybe you're coming down on your forearms. Maybe you're skipping this. Right? Whichever version you're in, elbows or straight arms, bend your knees and push your hip creases back. Try and just let your head hang. Then exhale. Figure out how you're going to come back on up to standing. You do your version. And then let your arms hang. Give yourself 5 breaths. Pick up your left knee and hang out for a moment. Upper back, corset cummerbund, hip strength. Left leg steps back, build your high lunge. Back heels lifted. Okay, so let's fine tune it just a little bit. Look down and make sure that your left knee is facing the floor. Okay, you want your left toes facing the same direction as your right toes. Woo-hoo. All right, hands can be in your hips, hands can be at your chest, arms can be overhead. Your challenge is to take your hip creases back and find projected lunge. It's going to be working this right hip. Okay, so you can project forward as far as feels comfortable for your back and your hips. And again, your hands could be on your hips or at your chest. Most challenging, the arms are going to come out in front. Give yourself a couple breaths. Then see if you can come back up to high lunge, lift the pelvis up. And maybe then take your hips up and back a little bit. Keeping your ribs stacked over your hips, you get 3 breaths here. And you have to load that front right leg. Step your feet together. Ooh, and then let things rest. Second side. Right knee lifts up. You can drag your leg on the floor. Step it back. Build your high lunge. Ears, shoulders, ribs, hips. Keep breathing. To projected lunge. I think we worked on this last week, not pushing your left butt cheek out, but taking your hip creases straight back. Hands at your hips together or maybe out in front of you. 3 breaths. Find your high lunge. Can you feel your front pelvic crusts lift up? Maybe tip back a little bit without splaying those ribs. And you're going to load that left leg. Step your right leg up. Exhale right away. Sweep your arms up. Fold over. Downward facing dog. On your hands or on your elbows. Push your hip creases back. Everyone will be quiet so we can listen to ourselves breathe. 3 breaths. To tabletop. And then we're going to come all the way down onto your belly. Tuck your chin. Take your hands out a little wider. And with an exhale, just let your chest get as close to the floor as possible. Nose just hovers. Toes reach back nice and long. And then grounding through the front of your hips. Lift your legs up off the floor a little bit. So keep your legs pulling long and then see if you can lift your chest up. Little baby cobra feel in your upper body. And then exhale, lower down. Take 2 breaths. You can keep your hands right here, or if you want something a little different, take your arms down by your sides, palms face up. Pull your toes and pull your pinky fingers down towards the bottom of your mat. Reach, lift your legs. Maybe lift your arms just a couple inches off the floor. They're just hovering. Maybe lift your chest. How long can you feel? And then exhale, lower down 2 breaths. Go for length and lift everything up. And exhale, lower down 2 breaths. You got 1 more. Go for length. Lift up. Exhale, lower down. Hands can come underneath your head. You can just hang out, let your forehead rest. You might turn your head left to right. And give yourself a few breaths here. All right, and then we're going to bring your hands down by your side like you're at the bottom of a push-up. You're going to push up to tabletop. Okay, when you get to tabletop, take your knees wide. Let's do it this way. Take your knees nice and wide. Feet come together. Round your low back. So you're going to tuck your pelvis under, round your low back, and you're going to push your hip creases back and reach your arms out in front of you. Okay, so reach as you bring your hip creases back. And then you're going to come to like upper body into like cow or baby cobra, but try to feel a little bit of cat in your low belly. So lots of things happening. Knees are wide. Your arms are long reaching forward. Your mid to upper back is more like cow or baby cobra extension. And your low back is more like a cat, or you're trying to feel a little more like a cat. And you're going to take 5 breaths here. And then after those breaths, come back to table. And then just find crisscross applesauce or a nice, easy sitting like shape. Woohoo. Right arm's going to come down on your chair or the floor or your leg. Your left arm's going to come up. Okay, without moving your sit bones, keep your butt heavy. You're going to lift up and side bend over. This bottom hand maybe slides out a little bit, but you are keeping that left butt cheek extra heavy. Okay, and then switch sides, reach up, left arm comes down, hand on the floor. Right arm reaches up, but keep your right sit bone. Everyone feel that right sit bone heavy. Side bend through your waist. Left arm maybe comes out a little bit. Take a couple breaths. Reach back up. Great. Rib cage spins to the right, hands come down. Give yourself 3 breaths. You might take a moment to really define your rib cage. Take your gaze over to the left shoulder without straining your neck. Then take your rib cage all the way to the left and the gaze to the right without straining your neck. And come all the way back to center. Exhale, sweep your arms up like you're holding a big beach ball. Anchor into your sit bones. So your butt is not going to move as you just go side to side 2 times. Keep your butt down. There you go. Then your arms come down. Great. Bring your legs out in front of you. 1 reverse table, okay? So you're going to come here, hands by your lower hips or butt, triceps. Okay, push down, legs parallel. You're going to push down. This might be it for you. Okay, here's 2 versions. We're running out of time. So you can do a tricep like this. You can come and push your pubic bone up. Okay, so give yourself a couple moments, maybe doing some tricep dips. Elbows go straight back. Maybe pushing that pubic bone up, up, up to get a little more, reverse table, like feel hamstrings, back of the legs. Come on down. That can be your homework next week while we're off. We'll test it out next week when we're all together. No, I'm teasing. So not competitive, but can be a really nice thing to do while you're just sitting on the floor, you know? Remember reverse table. All right, bring your legs out in front. Walk yourself down, use your legs if you need to. Come on down, give yourself a big full body stretch on the floor. And bring your arms down by your side. And coming all the way back full circle to how you started here. Finding stillness. Put your body in a really easy shape and let it just find stillness. And coming back to how we define deep and noticing your breath from the inside, deep inside your body. Can you trace and feel and follow a few breaths as we relax here for the last couple moments of class? Following your breath. Like water moving through pipes, your breath moves deep through your body. And gently coming back to your breathing. See if you can follow your breath deep through your body. One more inhale, one more exhale. And then just slowly starting to bend your knees. If you're on your back, you can draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself some time to feel your body moving. You might rock a little bit side to side. And then just rolling over to the easiest side, we'll slowly come on up to sitting. High fives, everyone. Thank you for showing up for class today. Happy Tuesday. See you in a couple weeks on a Friday. Yay. Thank you.